hope you guys are gonna love tonight's show. Tonight's show is with Larry Long, a veteran that moved back to the Black Belt after serving his time in Iraq, and he talks about his experiences as being a leader in the community as well as being a pastor in the Black Belt of Alabama. I hope you guys enjoy. Give me your feedback, both positive and negative. I see the people who didn't like my hair, you won. I got my new hairdo. Shout out to my girl, Chrislyn. I think she did a pretty good job. So hopefully tonight you'll watch it, you'll enjoy it, you'll give me your feedback, and you'll come back next week. Thank you for watching Portia Takes on the Black Belt. Peace out. Alright, so thank you so much for tuning in to Portia Takes on the Black Belt. Today we're back in Greensboro. I told you guys I was coming back. And we're here with Mr. Larry Long. Is that correct? Or is it, can I do Reverend Larry Long or just Larry Long? Larry is fine. So you're not that traditional.
No.
Now, so tell me exactly who, tell the people who you are. For somebody that's watching that don't know who Larry is.
I'm just a young man from Greensboro, Alabama. Retired military, disabled veteran, pastor, and I just love the community. I love people. So I'm just a young Renaissance man in 2016.
Let's go first to the community part. So what do you do for a living? What are you doing in the community?
Actually, I do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I mentor, I volunteer in Francis Mary School, go in. I also have worked with the court system over there dealing with juveniles. I do work over here at in Greensboro. I'm the director of the Boys and Girls Club here in Greensboro. So I do a lot concerning the youth in the community as well as in Marion.
Marion, Alabama, which is Perry County, correct?
Perry County, correct.
All right. So you, one of the things, I just sat through one of your meetings. You guys are starting an alumni association. All right. Correct. So when you and Kim, I think Kim sits on the board, the Park and Rec board. I heard her name announced at the last council meeting. Why did you decide that this is something in because you were the West Campus?
Right.
You didn't go to, you didn't remember East and West for a long time before they actually consolidated and say, hey, we want school. Well, I take that back. They went from saying that on paper to actually doing it. All right, let's be clear. But let's talk about why did you decide as a person who didn't attend what majority of the students are involved in, and actually coming together and say, you know what, let's come together and do what?
I did graduate from the West Campus. During those years, I've noticed by going to the West Campus that there were more support from the community. When I deployed overseas in 2010, I think that's when they merged the schools.
Correct.
When I came back, I was the president of the Booster Club. Wasn't really getting the support from the community as it was when I was in school. It was just that the truth be told, when the schools were separate, but supposedly one school, we had more support because more of the white community were in the school. So the community supported the school. When the schools kind of came together and the white students left the school, the support left the school.
Correct.
So now it's like a struggle, and I said this in one of my videos, when I was in school, it's the white people this, white people that. But now the white people have removed their kids and removed themselves, so now who can you blame? So the black people been the problem the whole time, because now we don't have nobody to blame, but yet we still have the same issues. So it's like now it's time for us to stand up and take charge of our community and become the change that will create the change that we talk about.
Okay. The Boys and Girls Club as a whole is a wonderful organization.
Right.
So you guys they branched out here in Greensboro, and so you guys are responsible for keeping it going. Now, when you talk about being involved, when you talk about giving back, how important is it for people in general, especially the people who kids use this service, how important is it for them to give back to the Boys and Girls Club?
It's very important. I'm gonna go back when I was young. You had the Curtis Smiths, the Mr.
Smith, I love Mr. Smith.
The Mr. Johnson, the Johnny Ryans. A lot of those people gave back to the community and made our lives what it is today. It's because of them. A lot of them have died. The Mr. Brunson, he's up in age, he can't do. The Barbara Smiths, all of them. They've died out or have gotten up to where they can't really give back.
Correct.
But for those of us that benefited from their service, we should know what it was like when we were coming up. We wished for YMCAs and Boys and Girls Club. Now we have it. What are we going to do to make sure that it stays in the community? So we have to give back in order to sustain it for the future, for the kids that are coming behind us, because after all the Mrs. Smiths and all of them died and myself, Who's gonna be here to help keep it going?
Absolutely.
And that's the sad thing that I see every day. My age group and under really don't care. It's all about me, but it's not about you.
And my mom always says that they tune into WIIFM, What's in it for me radio station.
Right.
All right, so when you talk about that, what do you need as a Boys and Girls Club to sustain every year? What do you need, not just to stay afloat, let's just keep that, but what do you need? What number? Give me a number. Give the people a number. I need this much every year in order for us to be successful in the community. For me,
with the amount of residents we have in Greensboro, it should be easily to do, I said about 75,000.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay. Yeah.
Easily.
We spend that getting ready for Jay's Blues for
Amen. You gotta keep it real. Easy. And that's just what people giving, just say we got 3,000 residents. If everybody gets $25, $50, add that up for a whole year.
That's
a lot of money.
Right.
So, and the kids going to benefit from it as well as the community, because if we change the mindset of our children and give them a better view of what life really is, it'll make our streets better. It'll make our schools better. But it starts here with the Boys and Girls Club, because the same kids that attend here, they're in the schools. So we got to work together.
All right, so what do you say to the people that say, you know what, Larry, I would give, but I don't trust the board, or I don't trust you? What do you say to those people?
What I say to those people is, if you know anything about me or watch me, you know that I'm a people's person. I give. I'm not the type of person that go out and say, well, I do this, I do that. But a lot of people know that from day one, since I've been back in the community, I've always given back. My actions speak louder than my words. So my thing is, if you want to know what's going on, come out and volunteer. Come out here and see what's going on, instead of just sitting back talking and thinking one thing. Come out here and see. Ask what can you do to help make it better. That way you'll see what he's doing, what he say he's doing.
Right.
But when you just sit back from a distance, you really don't know. But a lot of people that I don't trust, but I give you the benefit of the doubt until you prove me wrong.
Until you prove me wrong. All right. So class day out was just this recently, right?
Right.
And it was a rumor out that Laramie, I want to clear that up. And I don't know why I thought that. That Laramie wanted to take this idea and use the money that Class of '98 made in order for to help the Boys and Girls Club. Is that accurate?
That is no.
Okay.
That is no. What Laramie was trying to do is, the Boys and Girls Club is Greensboro responsibility. I saw this as an opportunity to reach out to the classes, all of the alumni, because around this time everybody was talking about the Class Day Out event. So I was using that as a platform to reach out to the classes, but at the same time kind of put the Class Day Out on a whole nother level, to where people can see, well, if Class Day Out sponsor or become a sponsor of the Boys and Girls Club, people that probably never thought about participating in the Class Day Out may come on board and say, okay, they're sponsoring the Boys and Girls Club, I want to support their event. The Boys and Girls Club in Tuscaloosa have the Malmore golf tournament.
Right.
They have things like that to sponsor them, but nobody in Greensboro is sponsoring us.
Oh, wow.
Actually, what I was trying to do is put their Class Day Out on a level to where it may grow to something that they never even imagined. That was my purpose, and to reach out to the classes. So it wasn't to try to take over, but you can have all the day outs you want to. If you're not giving back to the community or leaving a real footprint,
generate fund, because I mean, let's just be realistic. I know you can't say because you're in a leadership position.
I'll say
that to me, but the richest African American in the United States of America is worth $3.8 billion. All right, that's the richest. The richest white person in America is at $70 billion. That's Bill Gates. All right, so you got my boo thing in my mind, Carlos Halou, who's about $40 billion. He's in the top 4. You got Warren Buffett, and you got a new guy, I can't pronounce his name, he's Latino as well. That's in the top 5 of billionaires. All right. Nobody in the top 5 of billionaires looks like you and I. So why are you not reaching out to people who don't look like you and I in order to generate the money if it's community? Because you know how us is. You know, black folks sometimes, they got to see. We from a show me state, even though we from Alabama. We got to see before we actually get involved. So what steps are you doing to bridge that gap? Because it is a gap now. You think about it. You got black leadership in BlackBelt. All right, black folks in charge, like you said earlier. We have nobody else to blame. We're in charge. We're in every key position in the city. Let's just go to Greensboro. Every key position in Hale County is run by somebody that look like you and I. So it's no more excuses on why things cannot be done. It's no more, well, the white people still got control. How? When you're in control.
Exactly.
Okay? So what are you doing, or have you done, or are you planning to do to bridge that gap to bring in white and clearly Latinos, because they got bread and people just be sleeping on them. So what are you doing to bridge that gap in order for them to do that?
Well, actually, we did have some white board members that got the board.
Wow.
But it's like I say, it's black people. One thing about, I'm being honest.
I'm sorry.
One thing about white people, they ain't about no mess. They're about business. And you know, when we get together, we want to argue about stuff that
potato salad,
things that are irrelevant, and you wasting people's time. So if you waste my time, I'm gonna leave and my money gonna get it.
Wow.
So and so you really can't blame them. That's why I say until we can move forward as a people, black people got to get together. And a lot of it is jealousy, and we envious of this person. We want to be in charge. I mean, just instead of just working together, it's easier to work together than it is separate.
Right.
So I have reached out to former people who were on the board.
And with that number of 75,000 a year, that's very, very important. Now, I want to just small touch before we go to a commercial. Is I want to know, why is Greensboro? You got about 3,000 people in Greensboro. I grew up in Greensboro. You know, I left, for a little while, but I'm still Portia. I'm still here. Okay. And so, why, as such a small community, 3,000 people, both black, white, Hispanic, why is it so divided?
It's a spiritual thing to me. And it goes back, way back, divide and conquer.
Okay.
A house divided within itself cannot stand. And Greensboro problem, why it's still stuck where it is because of division, not just between black and whites, but between the blacks. And I feel that before black and whites can come together, the blacks got to come together. The white people aren't really fighting against each other from what we see, but it's all out in the open for how black people treat each other. And until we are able to come together as one and move our community forward, we can't work with anybody else because we have an issue with each other. Like I said, divide and conquer. A house divided in itself cannot stand, and it's proven right here in Greensboro. Been divided for years, and that's why we're stuck where we are right now.
What is the core?
The core problem is, and I'm gonna say this, I go back to this right here, it's the foundation, which is the church. Sometimes the truth shall make you free, so I'm trying to help somebody tonight.
All right.
Back when I had a little, I thought that I needed a lot. A little was overrated.
Alright, so welcome back to Portia Takes on the BlackBelt. We with the kind of single spiritual part of it now. Okay. So you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we're gonna go right into it right now. So Larry, you are a pastor. What's the name of your church?
Morning Star Baptist Church, Marion, Alabama.
In Marion, Alabama.
Yes.
All right. So shout out to Morning Star. I haven't been there in years. I haven't been there actually since Reverend Trimble used to be the pastor. They'll tell you how long it's been since I've been there. That's been some years ago. But we're very happy, that you are in that area and you're staying here in the BlackBelt. You could have went anywhere else after you left the Army, but you came home, and that's a great thing. And let's talk about that. Now, you're a young pastor. All right? Young black priest, single preacher.
Handsome young man.
Handsome young man.
Yes.
In his opinion. But seriously though, you get a bad rep. You're chasing women. You just up there for show. You ain't really no pastor. You just there for the money, which is not a lie. But you're just there for the money. How can you be young, pastor, and single, dealing with being single, and still conveying God's message?
The struggle is real. I'm just gonna keep it real. It's just hard being a young black man trying to do right, period.
Right.
So being a pastor, people don't look at you as being human. They look at you like you next to Jesus, like like
you sit at the right hand of the Father.
Right, like you don't supposed to make no mistakes. Right. You're a robot. You're not human. But the fact of the matter is, I am human.
Right.
I have my own struggles, and like I said, I don't have my suit on today, but when I put my suit on, I looks good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And women like a young, handsome black man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Women like a young black, well-dressed man. You know.
That's true. That's true.
Successful. You know, in a power leadership role. That's attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And the anointing is attractive, believe it or not.
That is true.
So, you know, I have to know how to deal with myself as for don't cross that line.
Okay.
And because I've been out there at a young age, my pastor told me you can learn a lot from a dummy. You know, just watch people around you. So I've learned what and what not to do and how to handle situations, because a lot of times women will come at you just to see what you'll do.
Right, that's true. Now the Bible says, "It's he who findeth the wife,
Findeth the wife,
findeth the good thing."
Good thing.
Have you looked?
I ain't looking. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
All right.
I started preaching young.
Okay.
I gave my first sermon January 31st, 1999.
Oh wow.
So during that time, it was a trial and error type thing. But as I've gotten older, I'm at a point now to where things that used to matter don't matter no more.
Wow.
So now it's more like I'm focused on my mission for God. When I was in Iraq and Afghanistan in 2010, I was injured. Could have died, but God spared my life. But the soldier that was with me was injured worse than I was. He was unconscious for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. He broke his eye socket. The doctor said he would have neck would have twisted like a few more millimeters. His neck would have snapped. But I was knocked out for a while. But when I came to, I saw my soldier. I said, Lord, if you don't never do nothing else for me, spare my soldier life. Wow. So the whole time I had to have like surgeries. I almost lost my pinky finger. My knee was hanging off, and you know I didn't have any pain meds. But when they were doing the surgery, I was screaming. They're like, we need to give him some morphine. I said, well, I don't want any morphine. And they was like, why? I said, because I just thank God for the pain, because I could be at a state to where I couldn't feel no pain. Right. So I just thank God for the pain. So after my surgery, I said, take me around so I could check on my soldier. So they called me Preacher Man. He said, Preacher Man, I'm glad I was with you. I'm like, why? Because I know God like you. Wow. But that day, he gave his life to Christ. So God was like, Larry, I didn't take you through this for you. I took you through this to save this one. You wanted. So, you know, after that, God, some men prayed for me. I asked to stay in country. I didn't want to come back home. I said, if my mission was complete, I would have died. So I begged them to let me stay, and they allowed me to do my physical therapy right there in Afghanistan, so I could be there with my soldiers. But some men prayed for me, and it was a Marine. He was, I think it was a gunny sergeant, but he said, God just put something in my spirit. And he said, before I re-enlisted, God was telling me to go into the ministry full time. But I was looking at the amount of money and the benefits that the Marine Corps brought to me. So I re-enlisted instead of doing what God told me to do. Wow, you know you're going to get a whooping. He said God was blessing me, but I wasn't receiving the full benefits of God. He said, God said he's been telling you to go to ministry full time. God said, now you can't work. Now what you going to do? But God said, if you do what he say do, he got you. And since I've been back and doing what God told me to do, he has kept his word, has kept my word. So I'm not really focused on relationships. Okay. I'm just focused on doing what I promised God I was going to do, because it could have been the other way. Right. And women want time. And right now, some women, I'm anti-marriage. I've been like that for years. I say, some women want your time. Okay, some women do. I agree with that. And I don't have the time to give them, because I'm volunteering in the community. I'm sorry to lay bridge. It's true. Yeah. Church is like my life, really. You know, people say that's all you do is church. But it's not about that. It's that Jesus was a servant. He came to serve. So I'm trying to authenticate the ministry of Jesus Christ in my life. And when God get ready for me to have a wife, that time will come. But right now, I'm kind of seeking ye first. And everything else is added on to it. Right. So I'm just not in a hurry to do that right now, because I've been there, done that. But now I just said, God, I want to do what you told me to do. And when you get ready to bless me, I get. So tell them, a single person, the reason why you're single is because you're supposed to be doing. First, you got to have a relationship with God. Okay. If you can't have a successful relationship with God, how can you have a successful relationship with somebody else? Message. And our priorities are really out of order, whether it's whatever we commit to. If you can't commit to God first, which is supposed to be the head, correct, the foundation, if that is not in order, everything else is not going to fall in place.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of people are messing up because they're running ahead of God. They lose focus of God when He's supposed to be first. And He tells us, have no other God before me.
Right.
But we'll fall in love with somebody and throw God away. But right now, that's your God.
Wow.
And that's why it doesn't work because God ain't in it. And if God is not in it, it's not gonna work.
Right. Say that part one more time, because somebody that I know watching that need to hear it, because she hear it from me. But you maybe you hear from somebody that's not preaching it. Say that one more time, and I want you to look in the camera to that particular person who I'm gonna tell that there's a message in this film, this show right here for you. Say that last part one more time.
Okay. If God said have no other God before Him.
Correct.
And we make that man or that woman our God. And that's why it don't work, because God is not in it. God has to be the foundation. God has to be in it in order for it to be anything. And so we get it all twisted to where we're looking for love in all the wrong places. But God is love. And you got to have that love before you can truly find real love.
Alright, let's talk about that. Let's stay there. We staying there now. This is a good little thing here now. Alright, so you're there. Now you just pointed out what I've been preaching for years, all that. But you got so many people, you got people that live together that are not married. Right. And common law marriage after 2017 will no longer be in the great state of Alabama. So what do you say to those people? This is why, you've been living with someone 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, 3 years, no ring, you got a kid, you're doing all this stuff, and then you wonder why things are not going as right is it. Why is that?
Because it's out of order. God honors marriage. He don't honor being roommates or just shacking or common law marriage. He honors marriage. It's something, it's sacred, it's a sacred thing. And I think we take it lightly. We take it as a joke. But God said He will bless us as well as our seeds and our seeds. Wow. But at the same time, He can curse you in your seeds.
Deuteronomy 28.
And that's something that we don't understand. And man, you the head. The blessings flow through the head as well as the curses. So if the man is out of order, everything else gonna be out of order. So, and that's something that we have to understand, especially about our men that are not really standing up and being men that God has really called us to be. Not male factors, but men. Male factors have all the body parts, but we're not men. We're not worthy to be called men. I think it's Matthew that talked about the thieves that were hanging next to Christ. Matthew called them male factors. They weren't worthy to be called men.
Right.
And there are a lot of male factors walking around that women are so caught up in. But they're male factors. They're not men, so they're not men. They can't do things that men are required to do, or men things that men supposed to do, because they're not really men.
Like work. A man that don't work, don't what? He don't eat, right? Larry, thank you so much for doing that interview. I hope you guys learned a lot. We might do a part 2 to that, because I don't think we got the whole interview in there, so we may have to come back and reel that in. But somebody asked me earlier, what the heck do you be standing in front of? Well, it's scenery from the BlackBelt, and tonight we are in front of Freetown, Alabama. Freetown, Alabama was actually home of free slave, and most of the individuals, which is very unique about the BlackBelt, most people in the BlackBelt own their land. You don't hear that. And although there are majority African Americans in here in the BlackBelt, majority of the African Americans own the land in which they live. So just wanted to throw that in there. Thank you for watching tonight. Tune in next week. I got my brother Robert is going to be on that show, and he talks about things that he's witnessed as being in the BlackBelt, as well as his music. And then I'm gonna interview a guy by the name of Young Russell from Uniontown, Alabama. So all that is going to be next week. Thank you for watching tonight. Make sure that you share this video and you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Portia Takes on the BlackBelt. See you later, and bye-bye.
This is another Too Cool